Hey, hey, hey. Hey, best friends. Hey, best friends. Hey, best friends. Come on in the room. Come one, come all, come big, come small. Hey, best friends, come on in. When you guys come in the room, say hi to me. I'll say hi back. For those of you guys who have no idea who I am or where you find yourself, I am Candy Sincerity Johnson. My partner in business, Miss Shawn Johnson, is downstairs moving and grooving, getting some stuff done. Um, she said that she's got some things that she's going to tie up, so she's not going to join me on this video. So I told her, I said, look, I said, girl, I got some tea. I got some tea. I got to spill for the best friends. I said, so I'm finna go grab. I said, girl, I'm finna go grab my Snuggie. I got my feet propped up on the ottoman. Girl, I'm sitting in my favorite little comfortable chair inside of my bedroom. I said, I gotta go. I gotta call the best friends and we gotta have a private conversation. Hey, Miss Margaret, thank you very much for the compliment, Miss Kenya, Cherie, Jennifer. I see you guys, Miss Velma. I see you guys coming in the room. Hey, girl, I told y'all, listen, I'm trying to be better and I'm trying to be more intentional about keeping my word. I gave you guys my word on this afternoon and everything that I said I was going to do, I've done thus far. I told you, I said, hey, I said, I'm going to keep y'all posted on how everything progressed. When the last time I called you guys earlier, where did we leave off? I said, hey, I said, best friends, I'm about to go upstairs. I said, Tamia and I are supposed to have a conversation this evening. I said, I'm about to go upstairs. I'm going to jump in the shower. I'm going to lay down and take me a little piece of nap. Remember, I told you, I said, I'm going to take me a little teaspoon of nap. After I take me a little teaspoon of nap, I said, I'm going to get up. I have a Zoom call with Jaleesa, my friend Jaleesa, which I did. I had to reschedule that, or that was rescheduled. And then I also have remember I told you I said I have a conversation with Tamia. Remember? Let me know in the comments, best friend. Do you remember I told you I was going to talk to Tamia? I told you I was going to have a conversation with my ex as it relates to her, me sharing with her that she's in the book. Hey, Sheeby. Hey, best friend. Hey, Tanika. Hey, Cherie. Hey, everybody. So remember I told you guys, I said, hey, Tamia and I had text. I reached out to her. I sent her a text message. I said, hey, how are you? How you doing? How's everything going? I said, I said, I need to talk to you about something and I don't want to do it by text. I said, if you have a couple of minutes, can we chit chat tonight or can we talk this evening? She said, yeah. So we agreed, on a specific time. I texted her to see if she was still available. I called her. The conversation, let me know if y'all want the details of the conversation. I would say the conversation went well overall. Let me know. Do y'all want specific details? Say details in the comments. If you want details about the conversation, let me know. Say details. Or if you don't want the details and y'all just glad to know everything went well, let me know. Adrian said, girl, give me the tea. She said, give me the tea. Miss Brenda said details. Shantae said, girl, of course we do. They said details, please. Okay. So y'all want the details. So I called Tamia and immediately when I heard her voice, it almost like took me back in time. So I called Tamia and she was just like, hey, how you been? And I was like, I'm good. And so then I said, well, how have you been? Now, best friends, I told you guys something some months back, and I don't think you drew the parallel. Do you guys, and this is for the best friends that's been around for a little bit of time. Do you guys remember me telling you about my friend? I told you guys about my friend that I told you she lost both of her parents. She lost her mother, and then a few days later, her father passed away. Did I tell you guys about my friend that lost her mother and then lost her father? Say, yeah, I remember that. I remember you telling me. If you guys remember, let me know. You guys remember that? Stephanie said, girl, we wouldn't be here. We wasn't nosy. Stephanie, look, everybody look at Stephanie. Stephanie said, girl, we wouldn't be sitting over here in the Church of God in Christ alto section if we wasn't nosy, girl. So Miss Velma said, I remember. Okay, so you guys remember. Okay, best friends. here's where you draw the parallel. The friend that I said lost her mother and her father was Tamia. Okay. So I hadn't talked to Tamia. So if you guys remember when we had the conversation a couple days ago, and the best friend said, when's the last time you talked to her? Remember, I kind of skated around the answer. I hadn't talked to Tamia since, shortly after her parents died. When her parents passed away, I gave my condolences. I showed support. And then, of course, just like anybody else, I backed up, gave her her time, gave her her space. But that, in all honesty, was the last time that I talked to Tamia. Sean was very aware of that. She was very much so in the loop during that whole process and everything. So Tamia is the friend, or is my friend, is my ex that lost both of her parents. So when we talk today, obviously, naturally, the first thing that came up is, how have you been doing? And so she's like, I'm doing okay. She's like, I'm doing okay considering, right? Like my whole world was devastated. And so now I'm just trying to figure everything out. She's back to work and stuff like that. So we made side chatter. We had side chatter for a few minutes. And she said, I appreciate you asking and everything is good, and in good fashion, just like always. She was really, really polite. She was like, but I'm sure that's not why you text me and asked me if we could talk. And I said, you're right. And I said, I don't know how to have this conversation. And I'm nervous about what I'm about to say. And she was like, well, it's me. Just tell me, just get it out. And I said, do you remember a long time ago, I told you that, I wouldn't write another book? And she was like, oh, Lord. And I said, remember I told you I wouldn't write another book? I said, remember I told you I was kind of done with the whole book thing? And so she said, yeah. You know how people be like, yeah. And so she was like, well, and I said, well, this is the thing. I was done with the whole book thing until it was time to write another book. So she was like, okay. And so I said, well, you remember how the first book ended. So naturally, the second book will pick up where the first book left off. So she was like, Candace. And so I was like, okay, so you're in the second book. Basically, I just wanted to reach out to say you're in the second book. So she was like, well, wait a minute. What'd you put in the second book? She was like, what'd you put in the book? And so I told her, I said, well, this is the thing. I said, well, I put all things Atlanta, wink, wink, in the gun. So I put all things Atlanta in the book. I said, and then I just talked about everything from the time when we reconnected up until our breakup and, all that. And so then she said, okay. She said, so does this mean I get a free autograph copy? Or, she was like, what's my cut? And she was laughing. And so then I told her, I said, well, we can definitely make some arrangements, And so then she said, well, let me ask you this question. She said, She said, what inspired you to write a book? She said, because you were so confident. She said you were so confident before, after you wrote the first book, after you guys did the first one, that you didn't really want to go down the path of writing another book. She said, but something had to have happened. Something had to have changed. Girl, Adrian, you so silly. No, it's not like that. So she was like, something had to have happened. Something had to have changed in order for you to go from, I'm not going to write a book again, to now I got a storyline to tell. She was like, what happened? Like, what inspired you? And I said, well, there was some things that happened, right? There were some things that happened. And so I told her, I said, there were some things that happened, and there were some things that happened specifically between Sean and I. And I said, we had, some major life events that for me, right? For me, needed to be told, needed to be shared with the world. And so she was just like, really? She said, was everything okay? And she was like, how's Sean doing? And so I told her, I said, Sean is doing really good. Sean, I was sitting right here when I took the call. I said, Sean is downstairs right now. She was like, tell Sean I said hi. And so I said, I will. And she said, how are the kids? How's everybody doing? How's your family doing? And we just talked about that stuff. But best friends, I did tell her, I said, Sean and I are no longer together. She started laughing. She said, yeah, right. She said, girl, y'all go through more episodes than a season of the Cosby Show. She said, what I'm not finna do with y'all on today. She said, what I'm not finna do with y'all on today is y'all go through more episodes than a season of the Cosby Show. So she said, this is probably another one of them episodes. She said, this is probably another one of them episodes. This is probably another one of them seasons. And so I told her, I said, no, with all joke, like, in all seriousness, I said, no, like, we really, have drawn our line in the sand, and we just, after all of these years, we couldn't make it. And so she was pretty bummed out to hear that. And so, we had a little bit more chit chatter, and that was the end of the conversation. She said that, hey, I hate to cut the conversation short, but she was like, I got an early morning, and she was talking about she's going to the gym early in the morning before work, and that's it. That's it. So let me know, because I know y'all got questions. Hi, Brandon. Hi, baby. I know you guys got questions, so let me know in the comments what burning questions do you guys have? What burning questions do you guys have as it relates to this conversation with Tamia? Adrian said, "Girl, best friends. Let me tell you guys. I already know what you're thinking. The answer is no, right? I'm not healed. I just got out of a situation, right? I just got out of a situation. And so the conversation stayed within the parameters that the conversation was supposed to stay in. One of the things that you guys will find is that, as you go through different seasons in life, these are all people that have been in my life since we were in college. Think about the mindset and the age of people who are in college. When I first met Tamia, I was something like maybe 19, 20. She might have been 18. She might have been a freshman or something like that, or something close to it. And then think of us now. I'm 40. She's almost 40. So the mindset that a lot of us, we were in years ago is different than now. It's different than now. So with all that being said, then you also have to remember this, best friends. Not only have we been friends for years, meaning Tamia and I, you also have to know that there's a lot of overlap as it relates to our circle of friends. There's a lot of overlap as it relates to our circle of friends. And then also, she just lost her parents. And so I had reached out then. And so it was me circling back around. So we've shown up for each other during some of the most critical times in our lives, right, wrong, or indifferent. But we've learned to be respectful of the space and the place that we're in at that time, right? And so she just pretty much said that she wished me the best, and, best of luck on everything. Keep her posted with the book and, all of the good stuff. But, it was pretty straightforward. It was pretty straightforward. Robin said, girl, this is As the World Turns Facebook edition. Not sure what you mean, best friend. Not sure what you mean. Let me see. These comments is moving fast. All these comments is moving fast. Vicky said, hey, best friend, I'm glad it went well. And with your ex, she seems to be very mature and handle it well. Exactly. She is. She's very mature. I mean, because at the end of the day, let's be honest. I kind of blindsided her. Can we be transparent and had a real conversation? I kind of blindsided her. I never said, hey, I'm thinking about writing this book and I want to put you in the book. I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about writing this book. I want to put you in the book. Are you okay with me putting you in the book? The book is already written and sent to the editor. If she snapped and said, I don't want to be in the book, or, keep me out of it, or, whatever the case may be, sis, it's too late. It's too late. I kind of went about it wrong if we're 100%, because I never asked for her permission. I never considered how it would impact her. And I never even sat and thought, well, what stage of life is she in? You see what I'm saying? What stage of life is she in? So she literally was blindsided. And I feel like if I'm transparent, if I'm transparent, best friend, I feel like I was kind of wrong, I guess, in a sense, but everything was moving and happening so fast, I didn't consider. Majority of the time, there are long stints of time, meaning years, where Tamia and I don't talk. And so it was during the part of Sean and I writing the book, that her parents died. So naturally, because her parents died, I reach out, you know what I mean, and extend my condolences. But, I had no way of knowing that this would be a time where we would reconnect or resurface or whatever. I don't know. Best friend said, let me see the question. Lena said, this book is going to be therapy for you. It is. It's going to be therapy for me and for Sean. It has been writing it, editing it, having to revise it and retell it, going back through our phones, looking through text messages and conversations and emails, going back through the details, looking at, hotel receipts, looking at videos, looking at, the website of the hotel that we stayed in Atlanta, just to make sure all the intricate details was exactly as everything happened and everything occurred. Absolutely. Every aspect of this book has been therapy. It has been therapy. Yeah. Yep. It has been therapy. Brenda said, child, don't be in that damn rear view mirror. No, it's not like that. You guys got to remember. So how best friends. Okay. This is the best way I could describe it. How, remember I told you when me and Sean first met, we were best friends for a couple of years and then we started dating. You guys got to remember, when Tamia and I met, she was one of my friends, my friend Jaleesa. She was my friend Jaleesa's sorority sister. So I met her through a mutual friend. We would all hang out. We would grab something to eat. We would see each other at events on campus. And then even after everybody graduated, everybody lived in different parts of the state. But there might be that thing, right? There might be that event where somebody from school was having a party or, a baby shower or something like that, where we all would run into each other again because there's so much overlap. So there were a lot of years where there was a foundation of friendship. And so, it's hard to suggest that the relationship with me and Tamia is just romantic in nature. There's the foundation of friendship. It's very similar to Sean and I. Even when you strip the kids away and you strip the business away and you strip all that away, there's still a lot of overlap as it relates to the same people that we know. A lot of the people that we know are similar. You can't have the same circle of friends for 15, 20 years and there not be overlap. So, that's why, if I could be transparent, best friends, that's why those pockets of time where Tamia and I didn't talk or we weren't on the best of terms, it was awkward for me and Jaleesa. Because, even when Jaleesa would come to town, right? If your friend is here from out of town and she's visiting and she's only going to be, in Chicago for 3 days, well, it's hard to see everybody. So the ideal situation would be to, hey, let's all link up or meet at a restaurant. But if she know me and Tamia not talking, well, let me do lunch with you and let me do dinner with her. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of overlap. So, yeah. Robin says, sorry about that comment. I'm not sure what comment. I'll have to go back through and read more of the comments. If you guys have any questions, does anybody have any questions about the conversation? Does anybody have any questions as it relates to anything connected to this? Sylvia said, hi, Candy. Are you and Sean separating? I just started watching you and looking at your beautiful bags. Yes. Very good question, Miss Sylvia. Sean and I are no longer together. We announced it on this page, I believe a week or two ago. I'm not sure. Sean and I have been going through this journey privately for almost a year. But we made the public announcement about a week or two ago. So thank you very, very much for your question. We will continue to have Sincerity Johnson, which is our business. You probably have been watching on the business page. So, we will continue to maintain that business. Erilyn said, hey, Candy, best friend, I'm lost, but I've been over here and there in my life. Oh, your comment went up. I missed it. I'm sorry. You and Sean have decided to break up. Yes, we have. Stephanie said, are you two going to meet up and talk maybe for dinner or something? No, that wasn't a discussion. You guys have to remember, we're both going through our own journeys. I know typically what happens in situations like this is, you'll watch a movie or you hear a storyline and it's like, oh, two people will break up and then comes the ex, right? Then the music started playing and then people run off into the sunset. This is not Love Jones. This is not that storyline in that book. You see what I'm saying? This is like real life for us. So in real life, when you go through a lot of things, you have to get to a point where you sit and you look in the mirror and you say, okay, I'm 40 years old. There's some aspects of my life that I think I did well. And there's some aspects of my life that there's some opportunities for me to do better. One of the things that this season has created for me is the opportunity to self-reflect and find the areas of my life that I can do better. How can I do life better? I can do life better because I'm coming out of a 17 plus year relationship that didn't work. My marriage didn't work. Us trying to rekindle things didn't work. And so as much as I would like to say, like most people do on first, second, third, fifth, and 10th dates, that it was all the other person's fault. As much as I would like to point the finger and say it was somebody else's fault, here comes the space and the place, best friends, where I get to sit and I get to deal with me. You understand what I'm saying? Before I could show up and be something to somebody else, I have to sit and deal with me. How can I be a better partner? How can I communicate better? How can I show up to make sure whatever relationship I get in the future, whatever marriage I eventually end up in actually works and we stay together and we have what it takes to weather the storm? Yeah, it would be nice to have somebody laying in this bed with me tonight. But the truth of the matter is it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen now, and it's not going to happen no time in the near future. I have to heal. I have to heal. And what does it look like for me to go to dinner with Tamia and Sean is right downstairs? What are we talking about, best friends? I can't teach and preach one thing and then I'm doing something else. I'm not in any way, shape, form, or fashion perfect. But if the writing is on the wall and I'm flawed, then this is the perfect opportunity for me to work on the areas that need improving. I think that would be disrespectful for Tamia because she deserves better than that. I think it would be disrespectful for me because I would be shortchanging myself. And quite frankly, I think it would be disrespectful for Sean. I think it would be disrespectful for all of us. So it just don't make sense. It don't make sense. And who's to say that that would even be on the table? What you guys have to also consider is this is a person who just lost both of her parents in less than 10 days of each other. I don't know the person who's experienced that. She just lost her mother and her father in less than 10 days. Both of her parents were sick. She was by her father's bedside and didn't even tell him that she had just lost her mother. She knew, like, that's when I say everybody is going through right now, best friends, everybody is going through. She had nothing but positive things to say. She asked about Sean. She asked about the kids. She wished me well. She said good luck on the book. We laughed, we joked. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is somebody who has showed up for me. This is somebody who has always showed up. And even if you guys don't completely understand, this is somebody who has always showed up for Kennedy and Caleb and Sean. So it's just not a time where that should even be a conversation that her or I are having. Now, if we continue to talk and I check in and say, hey, how are you doing? You know, how are you healing? How are you, whatever. Or she check in periodically to be like, how's everything going? Be encouraged. Have a good day. But outside of that, boundaries have to be drawn. You have to draw boundaries. You have to draw boundaries. And I wish I had that part of a conversation to deliver to say, girl, we talked about this, or the conversation went here, the conversation went there. No. Here comes the day, best friends, with people who made mistakes in book 1, correct them in book 2. Here's the people who made the mistakes in book 1 that showed them and corrected them by book 2. Who Tamia is in book 2 is different than who Tamia was in book 1. You understand what I'm saying? Tamia in book 1 was a young girl. She didn't know herself. I didn't know myself. She was still finding herself, finding her path, finding her voice, finding her God, finding everything. Right? By book 2, she was a little bit more polished. And book 2 wasn't even that far off from book 1 in her part. So who she is now is even completely different than the first couple of chapters of the book. It's completely different. Who I am, even when I started writing this book with Sean, is different than who I am now. What was fair game then is not even an option now. Like, once you got, and I'm not trying to hype this up because it ain't even that. I'm just sharing my story. When you guys get this book and you guys read what all I've been through, it's going to all make more sense. That's all I could say. It's going to make so much more sense. You're going to be like, yeah, girl, you could not possibly be trying to entertain nothing with nobody right now. You just went through what? Yeah, that part. That part. Now I would be, and let me be transparent, because this is just a page of transparency. If Tamia called me and said, hey, I need to talk, would we talk? Yeah. If Tamia called me and said, hey, I need to go grab something to eat, maybe, I don't know, right? Probably if there were other friends that were joining us or whatever the case may be, but it's got to be a situation, best friends, where it makes sense for all parties. If it don't make sense, we can't just be doing stuff just to be doing it and figuring it out as we go. We can't operate like that. Stephanie said, I need a documentary, girl. I hate reading. You got to get used to reading, best friends. Y'all got to get used to reading. We got to get used to reading. I understand. And Stephanie, best friend, when I say I don't judge, I don't judge. But the space and place we going to in this next season, we got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? Best friends, we have to get to the point where we're comfortable with being uncomfortable, because everything that's going to be required of us is going to require another level of thinking. We got to get to the point where we're okay with another level of thinking. Yeah. Angie said, Candy, you've grown so much. Thank you, best friend. I'm trying. I don't get it right every day. I probably, out of 7 days a week, I probably get it wrong at least 5.5 of them. But I just keep trying. We got to keep trying. We have to keep trying. Because guess what, best friends? I don't know if y'all just put things in perspective, but since the last time I talked to Tamia, you guys got to think of all of the stuff that has happened in both of our lives over the past 12 months. Over the past 12 months. You see what I'm saying? Over the past 12 months. Last time I had talked to Tamia was with somebody. She was with somebody back then. She was in a relationship. She's not in a relationship now. Before, remember I told you I had talked to her when her parents died. She just recently lost her parents. I recently lost my father. I'm going through a whole nother grieving process with the relationship with Sean. Everybody, life is out here lifing for people. Life is out here lifing for people. The best thing we can do, and I'm not just talking about Tamia and I'm talking about everybody. The best thing we could do is learn how to find solace in being by ourselves. We have to find safety and security in being by ourselves. We have to learn how to hear our own voice and like what we hear. We have to learn how to be still. We have to learn how to not be so doggone emotional. I can't count how many people was like, you and Sean should give it another try. No, that's not healthy. It's not healthy. No, wrong answer. And wrong. No, we gave it another try. We got to learn how not to just get our mind set on one thing and really have the conversation with ourselves and say, is this what's best for me? Is this what's best for the other person? Is this what's best for the kids? Is this in alignment with the direction that I'm going in my life? Is this what God wants me to do? We got to have different conversations, and we got to start entertaining different thoughts. Because at 40, what I'm realizing in this ripe old age of 40 is if what I did was so right and it was so grand, I would have better results. We got to get out of this shirt. I had this shirt made a long, long time ago. It's like, get out your feelings. Ain't no money there. I had this shirt made as an entrepreneur because I was always coaching people that was always deep in their feelings. So I used to always tell my coaching clients, sis, get out your feelings, bro. Get out your feelings because ain't no money there. Same thing with us as human beings, even outside of the space of business. We got to get out our feelings because if our results was so good and we was doing the right thing all the time, we would have better receipts. If I don't like the receipts, then if I don't like the fruit, I got to change the root. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, if you don't like the fruit, you got to change the root. You got to. I don't know who I'm talking to. You have to. We have to. We too old to still be getting the same results. When I find what God has for me, do y'all understand the level? Do y'all understand what this is going to look like? I can't be sneaking in somebody's back door and doing all of this stuff and we together in private, but we can't be together in public and all of this. Listen, let me tell y'all, when y'all gonna be so sick of me when I find the one, when I'm healed enough and I find the one, y'all gonna be so sick of me. You're gonna be so sick of me. Because I'm going to be like, do you know how long I waited? Do you know how much work I did to get here? The ideas and stuff that be running through my mind. I said, I'm going to go to one of those craft stores, you see? And I'm going to get this decorative box. And once a month, even when we're married, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to handwrite a love letter to her. And I'm going to pour out my heart to her at least once a month. So that when she get off work and she drag and she tired and she make her way over to the mailbox, at least once a month, it's going to be that letter from me. And she going to walk in the house. She going to kick off her shoes after a long day of work. And she going to sit on the couch. Yeah, Jessica, it is. She's going to sit on the couch and she's going to read that letter. And then every month, she's going to go take that letter and she's going to deposit. She's going to put it inside of that decorative box. So what's going to happen over a lifetime is she going to have a whole lot of love stories. She's never going to have to wonder how I feel. Everything that I love about her, she's going to hear about it over and over and over again. And I'm going to check in with her because I never want her to feel like her voice is not being heard. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because I messed it up in my previous marriage. Somebody is trying to jump into the next situation and they not spending enough time in the mirror. I told my friend the other day when we were on the phone, I said, friend, I said, you know what? I said, we as human beings, it's easy for us to see what's going on inside somebody else, but it's hard for us to look in the mirror. I said, because we only spend about 10 minutes a day in the mirror, but we spend 23 and a half hours looking at other people. So we can see the booger in your nose. We can see the fact that your stomach hanging out the bottom of your shirt. We can see your shoes running over. It's easy to see what's going on with other people because that's what we spend our whole lives looking at. But when we walk past the mirror, we quick to walk past because we don't like what we see. I don't know why it's so hard for people to believe that I'm spending time standing in the mirror and I'm dealing with the fact that I don't like what I see. I don't know why that's hard for people to process. People so used to a different storyline. I don't know. Tamia might be the one, but she might not be. There might be a person that God has for me, or I might be single for the rest of my life. I'm fine and complete and I'm whole either way. I'm whole either way. We got to get to the point, best friends, where we're whole either way. Jackie definitely sent her the replay. Yeah, we got to be whole either way, best friends. So I don't know. I wish I could tell you guys where this storyline is going with me and Sean, where it's going with me and Tamia. Here's what I know for a fact. I would never say never. And you and I both know that I still love Sean. That's not a mystery. I'm not telling anybody anything that they don't already know. But I do know that Sean and I's time in a romantic capacity has expired. And it's time for us to move on. That I do know. Now, where this path is going with somebody else in the future, I don't know. But I do know that I have work to do. I don't just say that at the end of the video because it sounds good. I do know I have work to do. And I don't talk to Tamia every day. I don't talk to her constantly, whatever. But I do know that she has work to do. How do you lose your foundation and then what? A couple of months later? I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. And I, quite frankly, don't even know what that feels like. But I will say this. Tamia has been there for me during some of the most pivotal times in my life. And if she called and she needed to talk, I'm there. If she said, I need to scream, I need to cry, I need to vent, I'm there. But I'm also controlled enough to know that this is not going to be a trauma bond. Right? That she's going through a lot and I'm going through a lot. This ain't going to be that. John said, I want you and Sean to be together. Wrong answer, best friend. I love you, but you should want us to be where God wants us to be. We're not supposed to be together. You can't want somebody to be together more than they want to be together. It's over. And I know that's a big pill for a lot of people to swallow. It's over and it's been over for a while and it's not healthy. That relationship is not healthy. In fact, it's toxic. But I'm not suggesting that we're toxic necessarily, but I'm saying that we're toxic together. Does that make sense? So, yeah. No, I agree. I agree, best friend. We do well with the kids. We do, but that's just maturity, right? So for us, as much as we bump heads, it's one of those situations where our common ground is them. We love them. We would do anything for them, so we're able to keep the peace and do everything we need to do for them. And remember, at our core, we were friends for years. So that's hard to walk away from. The relationship, yeah, we got to walk away from that. But our prayer, or my prayer, I can only speak for me. My prayer is that one day we can get to the point where we can be good friends again, because it makes everything easier. It makes it so easy to co-parent when you can be friends with the person who you was once married to and once shared a relationship with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But but I pray for Sean. Sean prays for me. We pray for each other. We always will, and we always have, and we always will. She tell me all the time, I'm praying for you. I tell her all the time, I'm praying for her. She know I haven't been feeling the best. Earlier when I came to lay down, I told her, I said, I'm not feeling well. She said, you okay? You need anything? No, I'm fine. I'm not feeling well. She told me, she said, I'm praying for you. I said, thank you. Yep. We still have each other's best interests at heart. But it's just reached the point where our best interest is not in being together. That's not in either of our best interests. So yeah. Yep. But if you guys have any questions, I'll take questions. I know you guys probably have questions. What questions do you have? Y'all know I always get on here preaching. I don't even, let me tell y'all, when I say I don't even be meaning to, I just always feel led to give you guys something. Nicole said, do you think you guys living together is still healthy? It doesn't feel like it's being dragged out. Yeah, I mean, some days it's tough, right? Some days it is tough. But there's a reason why we're still living together. And the reason is primarily financial. So there's a lot of financial overlap that Sean and I have, and we're tying up loose ends. So our estimate was about 6 months for us to continue to be under the same roof. Sharon said, Jessica, what was the hotel in Atlanta? I'll have to think about it. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember. I vaguely remember. I want to say the W, one of the W's. I'm not sure. I think it was the W. I have to double check. How hard is the breakup on the kids? The kids have been doing okay considering. In true transparency, the breakup is probably going to be harder for them when it's time for Sean to actually move out. You know what I'm saying? And so during move out is going to be different because they're going to feel the difference. Is it possible for you guys to be roommates? No, that's not healthy long term. So for me, and this is me being a visionary, best friend, right, Sharon? So I don't think about life in small bites of time. Oftentimes when I dream and I think about things, I think about them into the future. And so, is it feasible for us to be under the same roof for 6 months? Absolutely. But years from now, it doesn't make sense because it's holding her back and then it's holding me back. And then it's creating confusion for the kids because I don't want them to feel like marriage or relationships should look like people living in and sleeping in separate rooms and separate parts of the house, and all this. Like that's not what I want the kids to grow up knowing. I would much rather them see me with nobody else in the house versus see me with what appears to be a broken circumstance. Does that make sense? I'd rather them see me by myself than see me with something that's not healthy. Nikki said, so why did you decide to have kids when you and Sean weren't going to be together in the long run? Well, sis, the kids, I'm saying this to you because I know you personally. I issue. Well, since the kids are almost 10, I didn't know 10 years ago that Sean and I weren't going to be together. 10 years ago, Sean and I were married. 10 years ago, Sean and I were married. We were in a good spot. We owned a successful business and had only been in this house for like 2 years. We were good 10 years ago. I would have never, I don't know the person who would. I would have never intentionally had kids because we planned our children. I would have never intentionally had kids if I didn't think the relationship was going to work. Like, you guys do understand, we're the alphabet kids. Like, it wasn't no oops moment. It wasn't no happy ending at the end of the night. Like, we went to the fertility doctor and planned all of that out. Like, that's, you see what I'm saying? We planned that out for like over a year. So yeah, we were married. We were happily married. We were in a very good spot. And, so that's when we had the kids, but they're literally 9. They'll be 10, in November. So you figure you pregnant for almost a year. So it's been over 10 years. But yeah, the level of trauma that we've all experienced, nobody would have planned it. I didn't plan it, but life happens, right? Life happens. And so we're not going to be the first people who divorced or didn't work out. They'll be fine. But I just want to be very intentional about the messaging, both verbal and nonverbal, that I put in front of them, right? When they think of marriage or they think of love, I want them to see it as something to run to and not from, something that is exciting and happy and not stressful and sad or disappointing. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want them to see that. So, best friend said, my question is it not toxic for you guys to live under the same roof? No, because you guys got to understand, we're very mature. So we've been through a lot, but we're still very mature. Meaning, Sean and I are not finna go upside each other's head. Like now, let's be honest. We've been through a lot, but at the same time, we still know and understand boundaries. We still respect each other. Just because we don't want to be together don't mean we don't respect each other. We still respect each other. We still don't have the environment, or we don't have the environment or the home where people are yelling and cursing and screaming and all of that. I told you guys a long time, when we disagree, usually it's face to face and we whispering because the walls are so thin, or it's a situation where we're either emailing or texting each other. If we really got to go for broke and we got to get our points across, we doing it by email. That way, because you can sit down and you can get all your thoughts out and how you feel and all of the things uninterrupted. And then the person can read it, they could digest, they could process everything, and then they can respond with a clear head. Angie said, do you feel like you and Sean have really put your all into each other? And this is not fixable? Absolutely. So this is the question that I have for y'all. I want to know, because I mostly get it from women. Now, I did get it from John W. Trump. I did get it from my best friend. That's a guy. But I mostly get this from women. Why is it so hard for you guys to let go of what's not healthy for you? I want to know, why is it so hard for people to let go of that which is not healthy for you? It's hard. It's hard. It seems like it's hard for people to let go of something that's not healthy for them just because it's familiar. So case in point, what I'm saying is this. You guys know Sean and I have been together for 17 years. We've been friends for a few, so we've been in each other's lives for almost 20. Right? Would it make sense if you're not in a good space? Would it make sense to do another 20 years just to say we had 40? What are we doing? What are we doing? Shelly said abandonment issues. Shantae said routine, comfort, convenience. I don't want routine, comfort, or convenience. I want happiness. I want good health. I want peace of mind. I want to be respected. I want, I don't want to feel manipulated. I don't want, you see what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that I want. I don't like change. I tell y'all all the time. So I have to be in a very bad situation for me to say, as much as I don't like change, I'm going to give up everything that I know to be familiar. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to give up everything that I know to be familiar. Some people are afraid of the unknown. Yeah, I mean, but your faith is on the other side of your fear. Your faith is on the, hey, Candace, hey, best friend. Your faith is on the other side of your fear. Your faith is on the other side of your fear. And let me show you this. What God has for you is for you. So y'all so busy saying, did you give it a second look? Y'all ain't go to therapy. Can you talk about it? Can you sit down? Can y'all pray about it? Can you do a separation? No. If this is the woman that God has designed for me, if this is the person that God has designed for me, and we're supposed to do life together, it should not be this difficult. It shouldn't be. And if we let go of each other, we will come back together like magnets, and there won't be anything or anybody. Y'all ever hear what they say when people get married? Well, God joined together, let no man put asunder. If God joined it together, it wouldn't be no demon in hell that could keep us apart. It wouldn't be nobody who could come between us. But sometimes people stay in stuff to the detriment of themselves. You guys are hearing me say it, and I'm not just saying it for the first time. It's not healthy for either of us. I wasn't respected. I wasn't valued. I was manipulated. I was lied to. I was abandoned. There was a host of things that happened that you guys will learn about inside of the book. In exchange for that, I was controlling. I was, all of these things to Sean. She didn't feel like she had a voice. She felt like she had to show up as who she thought I wanted her to be, and not who she was created by God to be. Nobody should have to walk in that. Nobody should have to walk in that. Nobody. That's not what God has for her. It's not what God has for me. And so if that's how we show up together, then what are we holding on to? Sharon said, can you please put a rush on my books, please? She said, niece, packing department, packing and shipping department. She said, can y'all put a rush on my books? You understand what I'm saying? Exactly, best friends. Cece and Jackie get it. They said you got to depart with peace of mind. You got to depart with peace of mind. Listen, best friends, this is what we do as adults. This is, especially if you work a 9 to 5, you get exactly where I'm going. And if you're an entrepreneur, you get it too. You get up in the morning, you get dressed. You leave out your front door or your back door or your garage door. It don't matter, but you leave out your door. You go out into this big, bad world and you fight the world for your place. You fight for resources. You fight for respect. You fight for your place in this world and in this society. And then you get back home. You cross your doorstep. You think I'm finna fight at home too? You think I'm finna fight out there and then come back in here and fight? You got me messed up. When I come in here, it's not an ask. I require peace. I require peace. because this is my recharging station. I'm going to give peace and I'm going to receive peace. And if we can't give and receive peace, we can't be together. Then I need something else on the other side of the threshold when I come home. Even if that something else is this white mirror on the other side of this camera that's staring back at me. I'll be by myself before I'm disrespected. And I'm going to need some more best friends who understand that sentiment. What makes me nervous is the people that's so tied to their traditionalism. See, that makes me nervous. Not for me, but for y'all. Because your identity and self-worth can't be tied to how many years you gave somebody. If that somebody is not healthy for you. You understand what I'm saying? Candace, tell Asia and the baby, I said, hey, y'all, we love y'all. If that somebody is not healthy for you, just like I tell y'all all the time, I've seen people in my family who've been married 20 years, 40 years. My grandparents was married 56 years up until my grandfather died. But at any point in time, if it wasn't healthy for both parties, I would tell them exit stage left. We so busy trying to make stuff look away. Y'all can have the fake happiness. I don't want the fake happiness. If it's not real and authentic, if I have to question, if I have to beg for respect and honor and loyalty and all of these things, if I got to beg for it, it ain't mine. It's not mine. My self-worth can't be tied to how many years I do life with somebody else. When my mom and daddy laid down in that bed and that Luther Vandross music was playing that night, and my daddy got excited and my mama got excited too, and March 21st, 1983, a child was born and a son was given. No, I'm just playing. A child was born. I came in this world late that night, naked and alone. And when God called me home, whenever that's going to be, I'm going to probably be naked and alone. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here for real? Like, my self-worth is and how I see myself and how I measure my success and how I measure my happiness is not going to be tied to another individual. The relationship is the bonus. It's not the foundation. It's the ketchup. It's not the burger. It won't be the burger. You know, and we got to stop telling people that they should be connected to somebody or they're not worth anything. You know, when we look at statistics, especially when it comes to women, it's going to be a lot more single women than married women. So then we're painting the picture that if you're not coupled up with somebody, your life didn't have value. And I won't push that agenda. I won't push that agenda. I won't. And I love Sean too much to allow her to settle. Because like I tell y'all all the time, Sean's father is deceased. I never got a chance to meet him. He passed away when Sean was something like 11 or 12, you know. And so when I asked for her hand in marriage years ago, I went to her great grandmother, her granny, and her mom. And I asked the three of them and I got their approval. And I told them, I'm not going to dishonor her. I'm going to take care of her and I'm going to love her to the best of my ability. But the day that I can no longer do it, I'll return her before I damage her. I will return you before I damage you. If I can't take care of you in the manner that I would want somebody to take care of my daughter, I'll bring you back home. You understand what I'm saying? Vending said, are you working on not being controlling? Exactly. That's part of the self-work that I have to do. It's during that discovery that I'm learning that from book 1, For those of you guys who read book one, for those of you guys who are going to read it, you're going to know my relationship with Nicole is one of the reasons why I'm so controlling. It's all of the things that happened with my relationship with Nicole. That's what contributed to me being so controlling. It's because in my mind, I felt like if I could control certain things, then they would keep you from doing the things that would hurt me. But that's not what happened. I just created the scenario and set the stage for the person inside the relationship who felt like they couldn't talk to me. It was just as much my fault for why Sean couldn't talk to me as it was for hers for lying. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I say, hey, my wife lied to me, she did this and that and blase skip, I got to look in the mirror. I got to say, were you easy to talk to? Did you make her feel comfortable? Did you make her feel afraid to tell you the truth? Did she feel like she was going to lose you? What was her part of it? You understand what I'm saying? It's three sides to every story. It's the two people, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth. So a part of me doing my self-work is, y'all talking about me and Tamia, girl, I'm not trying to jump into a situation where I'm jumping out of the, what they say, jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. That's somebody else's daughter. Now, it would be easy for me. This is the low-hanging fruit, best friends. It would be easy for me to get on these dating apps, put up posts, put up pictures. Hey, I'm single. You know what I mean? Y'all know I'm cool. Come talk to me, slide in my DM or whatever. And it would be easy for me to point the finger and say, my ex did me in. She did X, Y, and Z. You don't believe it? We wrote a book about it. Blah, 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 blah. And people and women would be like, oh my God, I can't believe she did. I can't believe you deserve better than that. But how far is that going to get me? Because then 6 months from now, a year from now, that woman is going to say or do something that's going to be triggering for me. And then I'm going to show up and be controlling again. Or I could just spend this time actually doing the work and saying, hey, some of it was her fault. Some of it was my fault. And in the end, the whole house of cards fell. And so I'm doing the work to fix what I did to contribute to the mess. You see what I'm saying? I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work. You see what I'm saying? Tony said, please don't do that. I would never do that. But I'm saying that's the low-hanging fruit. That's what so many people are used to in this day and age. That's what so many people in our culture people do it all the time. Especially guys, y'all know how many times have you heard, how you get over one woman, you get under another one. People always say that, but it don't work. It don't work. You're just carrying more baggage into more bedrooms. You carrying more baggage into more bedrooms. And you doing more damage to people. Because see, what God showed me is when you lay down and you exchanging energy with somebody, you're laying down with the person's body, but you getting up with their mind. I don't want to get up with everybody's mind. You laying down having sex with somebody's body, but you're getting up with their thoughts, their struggles, their demons, that part. And then you laying down with everybody they laid down with. So that person's insecurities and everybody connected to them. Like, no. No. I can't manage that. I can't manage that. And I would be unfair to ask somebody else to manage it. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, whoever she is, whoever we put in the costume or the seat, somebody's daughter, somebody's baby. I got to be careful with this energy because although the second book is written, the last chapter of my book, meaning my life, ain't been written. So I got to treat somebody else's baby girl like I want somebody to treat mine and my king. You see what I'm saying? Like the energy that I want to reciprocate, the seed that I want to, the harvest that I want to reap, I gotta put good seed in the ground. Tony said, my Lord, this is better than therapy. This is therapy for all of us. This is therapy for all of us. And I appreciate all of the best friends who's been rocking with this page because I done went in 50 different directions. But I'm just letting God be God. And I'm just showing up. And I just keep telling y'all what's happening in my life. And I know it feel like a soap opera and y'all so used to everything else on social media where people be doing stunts and tricks and all this stuff. I ain't got time for that. I'm 40. All I could tell you was what happened and how I feel about it. Girl, I'll be like, I push the button and I literally be like, girl, this is what happened, girl. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Girl, the day that Sean gonna be packing, we finna be live, and I might be crying. Girl, I might have to take the kids to get ice cream because I can't watch it. I don't know. But whenever that day come, y'all finna be here. Y'all gonna be here with me because you gonna have to talk me off a leg. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like y'all here for all of it. If I'm transparent, I would have brought you in from day one when all of this was jumping off. But I was loving and protecting Sean because I gave her my word. I made sure she was ready to tell the story because it is my story to tell, but to the world, it's her story to tell. So I waited until she came to me. I didn't ask her. I didn't say, hey, let's tell you. I didn't. I waited until God gave her that download. And then she called me and said, it's time. I said, it's time? It's time? What's time? She said, it's time. I asked for clarity. We had a conversation. We didn't write the book. The book wrote itself. We didn't write the book wrote itself. The story is the story. But if it helped one person, we didn't go through all this pain to stay together. That wasn't God's intention. We went through all this pain, all this embarrassment that's coming, all this humiliation. We went through all of this. We went through all of this, not just for the world to see and be like, ah. We went through it to keep somebody else from having to go through it. And we documenting the process. Because there's going to be relationship conversations that are had inside of marriages as a result of reading this book that would have never been had. That would have never been had. You know, there's going to be people who are in difficult relationships and difficult marriages and they want out or they need out. It's going to be the person who's in an abusive relationship who's going to say, you know what? I didn't see a way out, but now I see a way out. And I see that this is not healthy for me. You understand what I'm saying? My relationship wasn't abusive, but you see what I'm saying? Like, y'all see what I'm saying? It's going to be somebody who is single, who now know what red flags to look for. Matter of fact, let's talk about it. I'm on my computer. My computer is in my lap. Look. I'm finna Google it. My computer is in my lap. So look, we finna Google red flags of controlling people. And I'm gonna tell you yes or no before I let you know. Before I let y'all go. Red flags of controlling. Let's type it in. I'm going to tell you yes or no if I'm any of these things. Controlling. Red flags of a controlling partner. Boom. Girl, they got a 1-800 helpline. Look. Don't call the people on me, though. Look, hold on. Don't call the people on me. They got a 1-800 helpline. And we finna go through some red flags, okay? We finna go through some red flags. Warning signs, abusive and controlling behavior. Recognize controlling person. Let me see. They have a whole helpline. A whole helpline. 15 red flags to look for. Uh-oh. The person lacks compromise and understanding around differences. Hmm. Hmm. Number 2, lack of trust. They don't trust you. They don't trust you. Yeah. Feelings of low self-esteem. The people close to you should build you up, not tear you down. Feelings of low self-esteem. Right? Physical, emotional, or mental abuse. Physical, emotional, or mental abuse. I don't know. Oftentimes caused from some sort of PTSD. Substance abuse is number 5. I ain't had no substance abuse. I don't know nothing about that. They saying self-destructive behavior. Number 6, narcissism. Narcissism, people who are ego-driven. I don't feel like I got no ego. I feel like probably low self-esteem more so than ego. 7, anger management issues. Anger management issues. Number 8, codependency. If I was downstairs and I had my chair and I was sitting in my chair, you know, the white chair downstairs on the lower level in the basement in the studio, I would twirl around. This is enough to shout and do a jig off of a dance right now. The word of the day, best friends, is codependency. Codependency. Okay? 9 is the inability to resolve conflict. 10, constant jealousy. Constant jealousy. Hold on. Camila said, I want you to be very careful because you have been in a relationship a long time. It's easy to fall in a vulnerable state, especially talking with friends who are going through things as well. No, I do receive that. I receive that. And I think we're both I can't speak for her because I said we had a conversation, but it wasn't a very lengthy conversation. We talked long enough, but we're not there yet, but I do understand and I do respect what you're saying, best friend. 11, gaslighting. So they say gaslighting is a common manipulation tactic and it's a red flag in any relationship. Gaslighting. Number 12 is lack of emotional intelligence. I feel like I'm pretty emotionally intelligent. I don't know, but maybe you know somebody who's, not emotionally intelligent. 13 is negatively affecting your relationship with family and friends. 14, inability to communicate openly. And 15, lack of social connection with friends. So those are the 15 signs of a controlling person, controlling partner. So yeah, best friends, there's a lot of self-work. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of self-work. There's a lot of self-work that has to be done. But I told you guys, I'm not cutting the camera off. I will document every stage of the process. And I will invite you along the journey. Make sure you guys like and follow the page. If you have not gotten your copy of Moments of Redemption, which is book 1, or if you have not secured your pre-sale for Moments of Resurrection, which is book 2, we have Moments of Resurrection available on pre-sale. The books will start shipping in a couple of weeks. Also, we're having a virtual event. You have to have the second book in order to get access to the virtual event. We're doing the virtual event. Sean and I are doing the virtual event. And you guys get to jump online, have your cameras on. We got our cameras on, and you get to talk to us, ask us all the personal questions, the burning questions you've been looking forward to asking. You get to cuss us out, tell us who you think is right, who you think is wrong. You get to give us all of what's been on your chest. You get to ask more questions even after reading the book. But the virtual event is going to be something for the history books. It's not going to be on social media. You have to have a ticket to get access. All the details about how to get access to the book, how to get access to the virtual event, all of that is pinned below. Definitely inbox us if you're interested. But we love you guys. I love you guys. The kids love you guys. Sean loves you guys. And as we always say, the absolute best is yet to come. But baby, we got work to do. Have a good night.